So today we're in the open air museum in Kourim that you've seen in another of our videos. There's about 20 buildings here from the past 400 years, maybe even 500. The buildings range from very large to compact, but even smaller buildings like this one were very important. It's a granary with a wide display of the tools and artifacts used at the time. The cellar was probably used for storage, perhaps of milk and milk products. The long white building that you see on the left is in two parts. When we walk in the doorway, we find that the farmer and his family lived on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, where the walls are plain and whitewashed, is where the animals lived. That explains the trough that you can see here. This is also a granary, also with the cool room below ground level. The roof of the granary and the farmhouse are made of shingle. Shingle is made by splitting cedar wood, and it needed you to have both a good eye and a good aim. You'd want to keep your fingers. Perhaps this is a moment to give you a brief history of the Skanzen. The Open Air Museum was founded in 1972 and opened to the public in 1976. Originally, it was intended to be a museum for the whole of Bohemia and Moravia. But after 1990, the focus settled on Bohemia itself. The museum is due to become the Museum of the Czech Village. As you walk into this homestead and look to the left, you'll see that the large room was occasionally used as a classroom until 1885. Otherwise, it was used for temporary accommodation for farm workers. It also served as the family room. On the right-hand side, we see the room where the farmers' retired parents would have lived. This is a memorial to St. John of Nepomuk. He refused to divulge the secrets of the Queen's confession to King Wenceslas IV, and so he was executed for disobedience by being thrown into the Vltava River. He's now seen as a protector from floods and drowning, which is why statues of him are often found by a bridge. A few moments ago, you saw this gate from the other side. Arched gates like this one, possibly with decorative gables, are still typical entrances to Czech farms. Here you can begin to see that the buildings and artifacts were actually laid out in the shape of a typical Czech village. This building is the smithy or the forge. It's absolutely filled with the tools of the trade at that time. It must have been an absolute powerhouse. It dates back to 1774. This wonderful building is the Reeves House. It dates back to about 1689 and has been modified since. You can see the decorated carved window frames and the painted boards and a religious painting between the windows. As you walk into the house, you pass a kitchen on the left with a fireplace and the mouth of a large bread oven. The living quarters were heated by the bread oven and the tile stove, which you can see. Some of the rooms were used for living and some were used for storage. And by the way, in case you're not sure, a reeve is a local government official or a magistrate. So now let's look at two different barns. The first one, with this very, very steep roof, is highly unusual because it's polygonal. Look at the way the walls have been made. And it's estimated that the roof consists of 5,000 pieces of rye thatch. All the artifacts in this barn and the next are authentic. The second barn is huge. It was the first artifact to be transferred to the museum in 1972. The barn itself was originally built in 1648, which makes it the oldest of its kind currently found in the Czech Republic. It has 9 walls. It's a spacious building because it was used for both threshing and storing. When you go in and you look up, you'll see that there are actually 2 stories internally. It's an extraordinary piece of architecture, filled with farm equipment. This homestead is an architectural masterpiece. It's built partly of timber and partly of stone, with a roof made of shingle. Downstairs, the hallway leads us to 2 living rooms, both of which were heated by an original bread oven. While the oven is no longer to be seen, there is another wonderful example of a tiled stove. To the right of the corridor are the byre and the cart shed. The staircase leads up to storage rooms and bedrooms. One of the rooms is very elegantly furnished. Here is another granary, also with a subterranean room for keeping produce cool. And just a few steps away is the most important place, the pub. Na zdraví. The buildings in the Skanzen date back a long way, and inevitably some of the building skills have been lost. But not all of them. We were lucky enough to see a new addition to the Skanzen being built at the entrance. Work like this fascinates me. I could watch it all day. So what you see is called the Skanzen in Kourim, and of all the places in Eastern Bohemia, this is one of my favourites.